Hi folks, Miche here. I wanted to give you a quick tutorial about how to choose a spoon that really is right for spoon bending. I want you to have the best chance of success and believability when and if you actually bend a spoon. So there are a few things to consider. First, bend responsibly. Don't be grabbing any spoons out of somebody else's silverware drawers, or if you're living with somebody, make sure that you've got consent before you take that spoon and bend it. All right. So you want something that is going to be stiff enough, strong enough, that when you really try to bend it, you cannot. Unlike this one where I can just bend it, with one hand. And so then when it's bent, there's no way you're going to believe that it was your mind over matter that did it, because you were already strong enough to just do that and to just unbend it like that. All right, so not so thin. This one, although it looks thin because it is grooved here, I think it's a tougher spoon. Well, not so much. Okay, so this spoon, you're not going to prove anything to yourself with this spoon. In fact, I think if I bend it the other way, it's just going to crack right in half. Yeah. All right, so you want it to be not so thick that your mind just wants to shut down and think there's no way I can ever bend this. You want it to feel sturdy, and that when you go to bend it, there's maybe a little bit of give, but not so much like those other spoons where you're just going to crack them in half or bend them in a loop with no problem. So it could be a teaspoon, smaller spoon. It could be a larger spoon. If you're a guy and you're already kind of bulky and strong, you probably want to go for something bigger, so that when you bend it with your hands, you will know that it was a combination of your mind and your hands that was able to affect the matter, and not just, that you're just strong enough to bend a spoon. So here's one that actually for me that did bend a little bit. So maybe for someone who doesn't have as much hand strength, I've been a jeweler for 40 years, and so my hands are a little stronger than the average person's. So for me, I wouldn't necessarily go for this one. On the other hand, even though I can bend it with little trouble like that, what I can't do, okay, I was wrong, what I can do with force, with a lot of force, is to twist it, or twist it at least once, right? So that hurt. And I think it was clear that I was really using my force. So still, if you wind up with a spoon like this, you can go to a different area of the spoon where it's not easily bent at all or deformed, and you can use that. As a beginner, though, I do recommend that you get a spoon where you can just work on bending the narrow area, and that it's too hard for you to bend just with reasonable strength, and yet not impossible to bend with the help of a mind shift. There are some people who have been able to hold a spoon and basically command it to bend and kind of flop over. I have not managed that yet. Actually, I haven't really tried that yet. And that's not what I'm going to be teaching at this point. We're still in the sort of kindergarten entry level spoon bending, and what I am going to be teaching is how to use your mind to get into a different state and a different rapport with the spoon, and to maybe shift some molecules around by means of your mind, and then using your hands to actually be able to bend the spoon in combination mind and hand over matter. All right, well, since we've come this far discussing the different types of spoons, and here we are, and I've got a table full of spoons, I thought I should at least take the opportunity and see if I can demonstrate a little spoon bending for you and give you a preview of what we'll be doing together in the webinar. So the first thing that I do is just try to get a little bit quiet inside, not really meditating, but I'm bringing my focus more intently on the spoon and setting my attention there and setting my intention that what I want to do now, what I'm intending to do now, is to bend the spoon. So I work with it based on the idea that we are all energy, that everything in our world is energy, and so that the same things that make up my form is what makes up the spoon's form, and that there's a way to interact with the spoon that I can have an effect over the spoon and a rapport with the spoon as energy. So I just sat with the spoon, holding this image in my head, holding the intention of bending it, imagining with my hands what would it feel like when the spoon bent. And so I just applied that for a few minutes, sat with it. I felt the spoon, and each time I was rubbing it, I was imagining that it was getting softer and more pliant, and get to a point where I was able to bend it. And I'm not sure about this. I think this one's going to break too if I bend it the other way. Maybe not, but yeah. Okay, so there's another example. I am not telling you that I, mind over matter, broke this spoon in half. I'm telling you that it's kind of crummy stainless steel, and just the stress on the spoon of bending it the one way made it so much more brittle that bending it the other way, it came apart. All right, so for this reason, I do tend to like spoons that are a little bit thicker and more sort of solid, not so much with a curve where it almost feels hollow in the back. And again, where I cannot bend it, so that when I do bend it, I can feel confident that there was actually some shift that took place, that something happened out of the ordinary, and I wasn't just bending it with my strength. There was actually something going on between me and the spoon that allowed me to bend it. And because I've been doing this for a while, I have gotten to a point where usually, just with a moment or two of focused intent, I can bend it, at least the first bend. And then it actually feels warm. Some it's warm from the focused energy, and some is warm from the tension created in the metal when it's actually bent. Now when I try to unbend it, I can't. So that is pretty much stage one in the spoon bending game. And on the webinar, I will go through in greater detail how to get your mind out of the way, your doubting self, and how to kind of find your spoon bending zone, how to set your intention and set your attention on the spoon, and how to get into that mindset where you can actually create this sort of change. And also be discussing how you can apply that to other areas of your life. So I look forward to meeting with you and bending spoons together. And I want to remind you again, just, no performance anxiety, that even if you don't bend the spoon when we're together or ever after, there's still an experience to be had and something to be learned about how the workings of your own mind and your own internal dialogue and discussion, and how to work with that to make things in life easier, smoother, and how to approach life from a point of view of wonderment and possibility rather than burden and difficulty. And just that alone will hopefully make all your endeavors move a little smoother, and more enjoyable, which to me is really the point of all of this. Okay, see you soon.